Good afternoon and welcome to Kooka News for Week 6 of Term 4. We are your news anchors for this week, Michaela and Simone.
With only 5 weeks left of this term, let's get straight into our news headlines.
Kooka State School has been identified by Queensland Health through Townsville Hospital and Health Service to host pop-up COVID vaccine clinics. Clinics will be held in the school hall on each of the following Saturdays, 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th November from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Labor member for Thuringowa, Aaron Harper, visited Kelso State School to deliver a new Queensland state flag and talk to Sion and Madison about the meaning behind the flag. Let's cross to Sion and Madison now.
I can. So the Union Jack sits on this side of the flag, and that is because Australia is part of the Commonwealth, as is Queensland, the state of Queensland, that recognises where we come from. So as part of the Commonwealth nations, the symbol stays there. Now the other symbol, does anyone know what that's called? Maltese cross. The Maltese cross has these blue symbols here and the Queen's crown. So it's still Queensland, but the Maltese cross is important. It's a symbol that recognises Queensland.
Interschool sports finished last week, so let's cross to Loha for the latest scores.
Thanks team. Kelso State School competed for the last week of interschool sports for 2021. Our girls basketball team finished 3rd overall in their competition. The girls took out the win against Calvary 36-6 and were definitely the most improved team in the comp. In AFL, our boys team lost to Holy Spirit 19-33, while our mixed social team won against Holy Spirit 28-7. A great year of interschool sports and a huge thank you to Mr. Basket for all his efforts. A reminder, next week, year 2, 4 and 6 will be going on swimming lessons. It's perfect weather to be in the pool and we look forward to seeing how they progress. That's all for sports. Back to the team.
Thanks, Loha. Finally today, a reminder to get your pies orders in for the PNC Pie Drive. If you need more information or an order form, please see the office.
That's all for this week. Stay safe, responsible and respectful.
Welcome to the weather. That is good to what? On Tuesday it was sunny and 30. On Wednesday it was cloudy and 30. On Thursday it was sunny and 30. On Friday it was sunny and 29. Stay safe, responsible and respectful.
We sit when we're eating, we raise our hands to leave the area, and when the bell goes, we line up in 2 straight lines.
Thanks, Super PBL!
That's another PBL lesson sorted.
Each year, in November, you may have seen these red poppies worn on people's shirts or shown on TV. Do you know what they are used to commemorate? They are a symbol of Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day is the commemoration of the end of World War I in 1918. But what's the story behind Remembrance Day? It all began with World War I, also known as the Great War, which started in 1914. It began when a bunch of countries, including Britain, France, and Russia, went to war against Germany and Austria-Hungary. Other countries, including Australia and New Zealand, also joined in to support their allies. The soldiers from Australia and New Zealand were part of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps and were called Anzacs. During the years of World War I, Australia and New Zealand were part of some really horrific battles that saw many people injured or killed, such as the landing at Gallipoli. Then one day, both sides agreed on an armistice, which is another word for truce. The signing of this agreement meant that the fighting would stop. So, at 11 a.m, on the 11th of November, the guns went silent after 4 years of continuous war. This was the moment that World War I ended. Because of this, the 11th of November is known as Armistice Day or Remembrance Day. Now, you might notice that the truce began on the 11th hour of the 11th day on the 11th month. This is why every year at 11 a.m. on the 11th of November, many countries around the world pause for 1 or 2 minutes of silence to remember those who have served their country in war. Did you know that in 1997, Australia decided to officially change the name of Armistice Day to Remembrance Day? This meant that the day recognised and celebrated any Australian who had served in any war or conflict. Now, back to those red poppies. Why are they so special for Remembrance Day? The red poppy was one of the first plants to come up through the grounds of the battlefields of World War I, making it the symbol of soldiers' sacrifice. Since 1918, red poppies have been made using silk or paper and sold to raise money for those serving in war or those who have been affected by war, a tradition that continues today. During Remembrance Day, there are also many ceremonies held around the world to pay respects to those who fought in World War I. Maybe your town or city even has a cenotaph. A cenotaph is a monument built to honour people who were buried somewhere else. It's at these cenotaphs that people often lay wreaths and where gatherings take place on special days. The 11th of November is a special day to remember those who have fought and continued to fight for Australia. Maybe you can make your very own red poppy this Remembrance Day.
The sound is, 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 good. The sound is, the sound is, the sound is, the sound is.
Mason, what's this sound?
Apple.
What's the sound?
Apple.
Every weekend, my friends and I play games together. We got so good. It was amazing. When we were at school on lunch break, we would talk about online gaming a lot. I really wanted us to be the best, and I looked forward to each weekend when we could play. Last weekend was different though. I messed up pretty bad and we lost a lot of rounds. But that's not why I feel so bad. My friends kicked me out of the party and said some pretty horrible things. I thought we were friends, but I guess they weren't really. They walked away when I went to sit with them at lunch. They just made me feel bad. I talked to a close friend at school about it. He helped me realize that I'd done nothing wrong and it wasn't my fault. He asked if I wanted to game with him instead. My friends really listened to me, and playing together as friends was way more important than a mistake I made in a game. My friend also encouraged me to talk to my parents about it, and they helped me with ways I can turn a bad situation into a positive one. Talking to my friends and parents about it made me feel so much better. Talk to someone you trust, whether that's your friends, a trusted adult, or kids helpline.
I just wanna let you know I'm proud. I just wanna let you know I'm proud.
We would like to send a shout out to our girls basketball team who were identified as most improved in their inter-school sports season. You are Kelso proud.